tiny brains! No animals were harmed during the making of this review, I think.
Welcome to another episode of The Completionist. And guys, today is a very special episode because there's a game that I discovered at several conventions this year. I spent so many hours playing this game, and actually I got to know the devs quite well. A hidden gem that I kept rediscovering at nearly every convention I went to. Guys, here's our review of Tiny Brains. And just to let you guys know, I am a little under the weather, so I may sound boring at times or just super congested, so you've been warned. Tiny Brains. Everyone's going to jump at me for this for not being the most next-gen looking game to review. Just because a game's out there on the PS4 doesn't mean it has to be revolutionary or trend-setting. It has the ability to make its own waves. That's exactly what Tiny Brains is about.
But Batman, what's with these animals? Why are they so cute and so creepy? I don't have a surfboard, let alone know how to surf. How will I avoid these waves you speak of?
Well, grab a surfboard, Greg, because we're doing it big.
Actually, I do know how to surf. Surf for a long time.
Our story starts out with a brief introduction of our villain, the scientist. Equipped with a hilarious accent, he paints the canvas for us while informing us of his latest plans. He's scientifically engineered 4 rodents to be incredibly tiny but incredibly smart.
Is that why it's called Tiny Brains?
Exactly, and those rodents are our heroes. Each of our rodents have different powers. Alone they are great, but together they are unstoppable. Dax, the ultrasonic bat that has the ability to force push objects. Minx, the cold fusion hamster and creator of the frozen wall. Pad, the quantum brain mouse that can switch places with objects. And Stu, the hypercharged rabbit with the ability of force pull.
What is this, Angry Rodent Star Wars edition? Only $50 for the PS4, what a deal, get it now! Actually, don't. Don't get it. Don't even think about getting anything Angry Birds. Those birds aren't as angry as you think. You got bird flu.
There's also a 5th rodent, but he's a part of our completionist quest, so we'll talk about that in a bit. We control these 4 heroes and their epic quest on getting the hell out of captivity. It starts out as a simple training tutorial, but then it turns into an adventure as we get help from the pink chick who helps us break free. Simple plot, simple goal, simple quest. And you know what? That's all it needs to be. We don't need to stab people with hidden blades, command pirate ships, or shoot people with guns. Sometimes, it's just gonna be a little animal who's got dope powers.
Would you happen to be referencing something specific?
Nope, moving on. Before we begin, it's important to note that a part of my struggle for this review is the fact that the PlayStation 4 at this time is not really recordable. See, Sony promised us that the PS4 would be HDCP friendly, meaning we can record footage no problem. But it wasn't available at launch and still isn't. With this said, I found other means of recording the PS4, but the quality does not necessarily demonstrate the true capabilities of the PS4 or Tiny Brains. You've been warned. Tiny Brains looks great and feels great. Pretty much a PS4 launch title, Tiny Brains had to excel in terms of graphics and designs. Now it's not mind-boggling like Killzone would be, but the physics-based engine of the game works perfectly. And this is probably the first thing that people are going to be looking at when contemplating the purchase of this game, so it kind of makes sense. Yet with that said, during cutscenes and forced camera pans, the game tends to chug a little bit on the PS4. There's also quite a bit of bugs that I unfortunately kept running into. Things such as controllers being swapped during multiplayer upon selecting characters, collectibles not saving, FPS is dropping or freezing upon getting a collectible. But 2 things I have to say about these issues. 1, they're very fixable, and I've been in close conversation with the guys over at Spearhead Games. All this stuff will hopefully be taken care of. 2, the PC version on Steam definitely demonstrates the full design of this game much better. Unfortunately, right now the game is not available on Steam, but you can go ahead and pre-order it. Pre-ordering it will get you the demo of the game.
PS4, slowly letting you down 1 frame at a time. We should all get a Kinect. That'll solve all of our problems.
The art direction is where this game has its first major triumph. The atmosphere is a perfect blend of childlike bright colors and dark depressing atmospheres. You almost forget that the congratulations sign is being held up by a brain-dead hamster with a propeller on his head. Not only is the foreground filled with Easter eggs and details, but so is the background. So many times did the guys and I stop and laugh our butts off at the randomness that was happening behind us. From fake cardboard audiences to even more hamsters holding signs that say "Help me," the entertainment never stops.
Things in pain are funny.
The music does a fantastic job of blending in, but it also helps push forward. A great instance of that is during the tunnel challenge. I'll talk about this more later on, but it quickly became our absolute favorite part of the game. The music, the comedic theming, and the overall artistic design reminds me of Warner Brother cartoons like the Animaniacs or Pinky and the Brain. It just fits the whole persona of goofy, weird, and most importantly, heartful. Is that a word?
No, it ain't.
The story is progressed through cutscenes between each chapter. These are great because not only are they actually entertaining to watch, but they also give you a great idea of how crazy and scatterbrained the scientist is. There are so many tiny details in this game that even after multiple playthroughs, I still notice things that I haven't seen before. And if you're a science nerd, you're going to be getting a lot of cool references to scientists and famous experiments. Tiny Brains is filled to the brim with many parts that make this indie title feel almost close to a AAA adventure. This is one of those games that you just cannot judge by its cover. Playing it amongst friends will determine how much you really enjoy it. Here is where Tiny Brains becomes an instant classic. This is the kind of game that you can pick up for years to come and have just as much fun as the very first time you held a PS4 controller.
I sure miss those days. I'll remember them as I enjoy this Werther's original. Maybe I went a little bit too old with that impression.
So essentially, Tiny Brains is made up to be a multiplayer game. Yes, the single player is challenging and engaging as well, but to be truly enjoyed, it is a 4-person in the same room experience. I cannot urge that enough. You can become friends with strangers instantly because your life depends on theirs, and vice versa. Playing by yourself, in my opinion, incredibly dilutes the point of the game. However, you can immediately switch between all 4 playable characters. Don't have any friends in the room? That's okay, there is online co-op as well. So let's get down to it. Each player can choose from one of the 4 characters. Each character has only 2 powers available to them. One of the powers is the ability to regenerate, as well as one unique power. Once again, there's Dax, the ultrasonic bat that can push objects away from himself. Minx, the cold fusion hamster, who can create an ice wall that can also be manipulated by the other 3. It can also be used as a trampoline launcher. Pad, the quantum brain mouse, has the ability to switch locations with other objects, but not the other Tiny Brains. And Stu, the hypercharged rabbit who can pull objects toward himself. These 4 powers, when used in conjunction with one another, make you and your friends feel like the smartest of cookies when you band together and solve puzzles. One of my disappointments with the game is its length. The story is very short. As the game builds on the little and fun suspense it has, you'll be enjoying the humor and the heart that's in it, and when you reach the end, you'll be a little bummed. It was just getting good. I really wanted to know more about the story. But with that said, what lacks in the story's length clearly shines in the challenges. The puzzles that you end up solving in Tiny Brains range from simple to complex. It throws in platforming, which at the end of the day doesn't really matter anyways because everyone respawns when you die. Some puzzles require one solution, but many can be solved in ways you've never even thought of. Finding shortcuts is a very fun part of this game.
A lot of times when you think you found a glitch, it's actually just part of the way the game was made. Infinite possibilities.
My bit was cut again. I'll be back soon. There's an evil lurking in the shadows.
Aside from the regular gameplay, there are challenges as well. Most of them require you and your friends to employ your ball skills that you guys honed when playing the story missions. Our favorite, as I said before, is the tunnel challenge. You are placed in the never-ending tunnel with random walls and holes in it and are given a ball. The challenge is to get the ball as far as you can. This may seem simple, but it can very quickly get out of hand and have everyone scrambling to keep the ball on the course. Not only is it a great way to challenge people for records, but it is so much fun sitting on the couch, yelling and screaming at each other for the greater good. To really see Tiny Brains in full action, check out our Let's Play of it on Beard Bros right now.
Don't forget about Tiny Soccer. This is the fun 2v2 mode where you and a buddy can take on your other buddies in a soccer free-for-all where you get to use all 4 powers individually. Real fun thing to do after exhausting your brain with doing puzzles and challenges all day.
Throughout the game, there are 20 pieces of cheese that are scattered about the labs. These pieces act as unlockable tokens that will give you more challenges. So there's only 4 levels to progress through, but all 4 levels are roughly 15 to 30 minutes long depending on your skill. When you reach the end of level 3, you must shrink your evil creator, and upon doing so, the baby pink chick that has been such a bother to him turns out to be evil! The baby chick takes over the scientist's labs, controlling all the chickens and machinery. The last level is a true testament of skill. Frustration will be at an all-time high, but in such a great way. Lava, the tube, and timer-based puzzles await as we make our way to the final bout with the baby chick, or in this case, a massive chicken robot. This fight is incredibly fun with 4 people because it really relies on you to work with your buddies. It's very important that you and your friends know what you're doing, or many a swear word will fly. Hell, let's face it, that's gonna happen anyways. And after defeating the chick robot, it's time to face the dreaded evil pink chick.
That's it? A fitting end to a ridiculous plot. And like Portal, we're given a fun little tune. I'd play it for you now, but that would really spoil it. So here's the song I would have put at the end. Hold me closer, tiny brains. Count the propellers on the hamster's head. Take the chickens down into the pit. You had a busy day today.
For beating Tiny Brains, you unlock several different modes. The first mode you've unlocked is Tiny Trolls. Tiny Trolls is the same campaign of Tiny Brains with the exception of who we play as. We no longer play as 4 rodents, but rather as 4 humans. And powers are now friendly fire enabled. Super fun and hilarious and frustrating at the same time. Remember how I said earlier there was a 5th Tiny Brain that we don't know about yet? Well, his name is Jules, and you can now play Jules mode. Jules has the exact same powers as all 4 rodents combined into one, except he lacks one big key element. He lacks the ability to respawn, meaning you have to beat all the levels without dying. This is actually very hard. If you enjoy the challenge, you'll love this next part. If you beat Jules mode, you'll get a trophy and or achievement called Intelligence Level Completionist. And what is that icon you see right there? My face. My face is a freaking trophy icon. If you complete this game, you get my face on your screen. Don't believe me? Do it yourself. This is how you can feel just like the real completionist after struggling through many hours of gameplay.
Inside story here, as many of you know, we met the Tiny Brains crew at E3. We had a great time chatting with them, and we made a video about it. Then we saw them again at PAX, and we got to know them even better. After dinner and a few drinks, I threw out the crazy idea of having a beard or Gerard's face as an achievement. The guys laughed and then said, "It's done, we'll do it." And here we are. The beard has gone down in video game history, and he's now an achievement. A very special thanks to all the guys and the gals over at Spearhead for not only creating a great game, but just being good people. A+. Also, I love your accents.
From a beginner standpoint, Tiny Brains may come off as childish or dull, but it's far from that. There are so many layers of comedic detail, heart, and wonder poured into this game. Completionists out there will really appreciate the difficulty of Jules mode. And this is one of the few times that I really stress giving it a shot. I read a lot of people writing this mode off as too difficult or too impossible, and clearly it's not. I've done it, and it's a great way to challenge yourself. I felt so much rage when I died. but it was so fun. It's one of the few times where I was not discouraged at all.
Like I said before, things in pain are funny, and I like watching them.
Maybe that's why we're such great friends, Gerard.
Tiny Brains is incredibly fun from start to finish. While it does suffer from a fair amount of bugs, there's no denying that a lot of love and passion went into this game. In a day and age where people are playing by themselves, this is the type of game that reunites you and your friends in the same room for hours of endless fun. If you guys are looking for a great 4-player game to play with your friends, then Tiny Brain's the one. The challenge mode, the soccer mode, the trolls mode, and obviously Jules mode provides tons of extra content. This is one of the few games that really makes me happy here on the show that we don't do numbers. A number can't tell you or express to you how much fun a game possibly could be. A game like Tiny Brains definitely fits that criteria. Casual gamers may find the later challenges kind of difficult, whereas completionists like myself would really dig every aspect of it. With that in mind, guys, this game gets my completionist rating of complete it or finish it. In this case, finna beat it. That was really dumb. I'm so sorry.
Finna beat it!
A very special thank you to the folks at Spearhead Games for actually putting my face as the achievement for beating Jules mode. It's an incredible honor. I'm so honored, and I want to say thank you to Malik, Keisha, Simon, Max, Diana, and everyone else at Spearhead Games for believing in me and for making my face the achievement. It's really cool. Speaking of my trophy, I want to offer you guys a challenge at home. I am going to personally buy you a game of your choice up to 60 bucks on Steam if you're one of the few people to get my trophy first. Take a picture of yourself with your camera of your PS4 with the trophy achievement, or for you Steam users, you can go ahead and take a picture of your Steam achievements, add me on Steam, and I'll verify that way. 3 for PS4 users, 3 for Steam users. The game is not out on Steam yet, but when it does come out, this contest will be, we'll go ahead and validate it for that. I can do English, yes. Before the end of the year, I'll give you guys the end of the year, the first 6 people, first 3 on PS4, first 3 on Steam. That's all the time we have today, guys. So as always, leave your thoughts in the comments below. We'll see you next week for a new episode of Defend It. It's back, baby. Woo! Now, if you excuse me, I'm gonna go play some more Tiny Brains over at Beard Bros.